Hi, everybody. You know, when I was a young comedian living in Omaha, Nebraska, it wasn't unusual for a group of friends of mine and I to grab our instruments and head down to the old market and set up on a corner of Howard Street and play to our heart's content for whoever would stop and listen to us. And whoever stopped and listened to us, if they look at our feet, was always greeted with the ever-present, always there, open guitar case with the sign that said, "Tips appreciated." And you know, people never stopped and listened for long. They'd listen to a half a song or a whole song or whatever. Never dropped much in there, maybe $1, maybe $2, maybe 20. But whatever it was they put in that guitar case, they usually walked away feeling thoroughly entertained and good about themselves for helping a starving entertainer out, right? Well, we're at those times again, my friends. COVID has messed up everything. Entertainers all over the place trying to find a way to make money any way they can. Thank God for the internet. So, what I'd like to do for you now is a story as old as the hills. Or at least as old as when I was in high school, because it's a poem I wrote when I was in high school, and I put it to music, and I used to do it at the open mic nights here in Sioux City and Omaha, and it's a story of good against evil. When a good man has to stand up and face a bad man for the betterment of all society, and I think we all can relate to that story right now. Like I said, it's a story as old as the hills, as old as the West, as old as my socks. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to present to you a song that I've only played once in 35 years. It's been 35 years. The Ballad of Alvin. Oh yeah, wait. With these reminders. The Ballad of Alvin. Well, out in the wild and woolly west lived a fast gunfighter with a pink lace vest. He was mean, ugly, made men crawl, but didn't seem to care that he was 3 feet tall. He's the fastest draw that I'll ever see. He built his house up in a tree. He played with his dollies in his kitchen set, and his mama had to change him when his pants got wet. Well, his name was Alvin and he sucked his thumb. He drank sarsaparilla but called it rum. He had himself a horsey with a broomstick tail, and he rode him to the corner to get the mail. Then one day when the sun was hot, Al trotted to the mailbox to see what he got. He looked at the letters and he said with glee, "Oh, goody, goody, this letter's for me." Damn near 40 years of smoking cigarettes had turned Alvin's voice from squeaky clean and cute to what you just heard there. Think about that the next time you're puffing on a cowboy killer. Well, he read that letter and his face turned white. He couldn't move an inch, he was numbed with fright. But he grew very stern and said with a frown, "There's gonna be a fight. Big Red's in town." Big Red was a killer, he was mean and rough. His shirt was unbuttoned cause it made him look tough. He walked to the corner where Big Al stood, but Al was gonna whoop him, he knew he could. Well, eye to eye the two stood there. Soon a big crowd gathered round to stare. Red said to Alvin, "I hear you're quick. Well, we'll shoot it out if you're so slick." Well, Alvin just smiled and he said real cool,
"This is my territory, leave you fool. This playground ain't big enough for you and me."
and he wound up good and he kicked Red's knee. Well, Red was seething, his face turned red. He took 20 paces, turned round and said,
"Draw, you gunky, your time has come."
Al's teeth clenched tight, so his cheeks were numb. But quick as lightning, Al made his draw. His hands were so quick, not one man saw. But his eyes were blinded by the blazing sun. Squirt, squirt went the water in each man's gun. Well, the dust rose up like a big storm cloud. Curiosity spread throughout the crowd. Who was one? The crowd cried out. When the dust had cleared, there rose a shout. For there stood Alvin, his clothes were dry. Other people threw their hats up into the sky. Big Red just stood there, drenched to the skin. Started to pout, 'cause he didn't win. He began to whimper and cry and fret.
"My mama's gonna get you, you got me wet."
Big Red turned tail, that pitiful tyke, and ran to the hitching post and hopped on his trike. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Now Alvin's famous as the fastest draw. The gang at the playground stares in awe. If you ever need a fighter, just give him a call. He's the meanest and the fastest, and he's 3 feet tall.